Brother lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is your latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Mikel Merino is expected to arrive at Arsenal this week. We also expect a couple of preseason games to be cleared out, and most of the players should be back from their preseason this week as well. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Arsenal are in talks with Gabriel Magalhaes, and also Alexander Zinchenko has changed from shirt number 35 to shirt number 17. That means that in terms of one defender leaving, it's actually Nketiah. The Ghana blog has been reporting today that Arsenal are looking to sell one defender, but Zinchenko changing numbers from 35 to 17. That tells you everything you have to know. Zinchenko is staying, and Nketiah is going to be leaving this summer. So let's get into it. Lots of stories to dive into. Been a little bit inactive in the last 48 hours. But let's start off with Mikel Merino because that one is the biggest one at the moment. Mikel Merino is back from holiday, and now the transfer is expected to advance into completion as soon as possible. It's a bit of a similarity with the Ricardo Calafiori deal. Remember, Ricardo Calafiori, it took some time for Arsenal to complete the deal until the player came back from holiday. And when the player actually came back from holiday, the deal was actually done. So Mikel Merino is back from holiday. He's been training actually with Real Sociedad for at least 1 or 2 days, and now we can say everything is going to be done. Everything is going to advance as quickly as we can. Mikel Arteta wanted him for preseason, but now it looks like he might be available for only one game, and that game is the game that we'll play over the weekend. So he will not play our game tomorrow against Bayer Leverkusen. I'll do a preview on that later on the channel. But apart from that, we expect him to be in Arsenal or in London at least this week, before this week ends. Now, talks will advance. Arsenal will agree on a structure, and Arsenal will agree on final details. Paperwork will be done with Real Sociedad, presumably this week, and we could have him do medicals this week. If we don't have him do medicals this week, then it will be early next week. So Mikel Merino is one of the fantastic deals that should be broken this week. It's one of the deals that we expect to be out of the door. Actually, I'm going to say this. I don't think there is another deal as sure and concrete as Mikel Merino, because with Mikel Merino, everything has been agreed. Everything is in place. Personal terms with the player are in place. We have an agreement with Real Sociedad on the price. We have an agreement on on a part of the structures. We just need to finalize the agreement. We just need to finalize paperwork, and Mikel Merino will be an Arsenal player. So I won't be surprised if we get for him to do medicals this week. I won't be surprised if he signs and everything is completed this week. Actually, if I'm to say this, I'm a little bit shocked and I'm a little bit surprised that after signing Ricardo Calafiori, Arsenal went into a recess. Now, it wasn't a recess really, because we've been working on outgoings, and we're going to talk about outgoings that Arsenal have been working on. So we've been working on outgoings mainly, but I thought after signing Ricardo Calafiori, because the time was actually taken away, we would actually work on at least another incoming quickly. And we've done it. We've talked with the player. We've talked with Real Sociedad as well. We've done much of the work, but I thought the process of signing Mikel Merino would be quicker. Now, of course, I understand one of the reasons why the process has been slower is because Mikel Merino has been out on holiday. Basically, with that, there is nothing the club can do. You've got to wait the player come back. He played until the finals in the Euros with Spain. So there's nothing Arsenal could do. There is nothing Real Sociedad could do. Now, the information we are getting from all sources is that all players, all clubs actually interested in the player in Spain have backed down. Dani Olmo is very close to joining Barcelona, and I think Atletico Madrid have moved on. They're looking at other players. I think they're looking at a Valencia midfielder. So all the clubs interested in him in Spain have given up on the deal. Real Sociedad, I'm not really sure if they have 100% given up, but if you agree a fee for a player, that means that you've understood and you've resolved to losing him. So we understand at the moment the Arsenal clear of anyone in terms of getting him this summer, even Real Sociedad, who own him at the moment. Unless something drastic changes or happens, we expect him to be an Arsenal player by the end of this week. By the way, Emil Smith-Rowe went to Fulham and he scored a goal on his debut. So you can see there's a lot of ripple effects happening. Now, in terms of ripple effects, the forward line has started seeing some ripple effects. Julian Alvarez has gone to Atletico Madrid for 80 million euros. That was a crazy fee. That's a transfer. That was a crazy transfer fee. Actually, 80 million pounds. That's around 94 million euros. He's gone. And Di Marzio, like he said 2 weeks ago, we are going to see the striker market starting to move. Now, I didn't think Atletico Madrid needed a striker, but with Alvaro Morata crossing over to AC Milan, they needed to sign one. And they've signed actually two. They've signed Alexander Soloth, and they've also signed Julian Alvarez for 80 million pounds. What a deal. What a very, very good deal. You know, Julian Alvarez, I've already said that he's a good player, and I never wanted Arsenal to sign him because of that Manchester City reject, sign and conundrum and situation. I don't like it when we sign so many players from another club that have failed to actually get game time there. But listen, Julian Alvarez, very good player. So Julian Alvarez going there, could we see Man City moving for a striker on the market? And could we now see the striker market, making some significant changes? Now, of course, City, you know them. They could go for Victor Gyökeres if they're going to replace, Julian Alvarez. Gyökeres and Alvarez are very different players, but City are capable. So, could we see Arsenal this week maybe make some progress on the striker that we want? Could we see some movement on Gyökeres, on Osimhen, maybe on someone else, maybe on João Pedro? We're linked with João Pedro last week. It remains to be seen. But what we understand, according to the Ghana blog today, Arsenal would love to sell this summer first before getting in a forward player or before getting in a striker. And of course, we're going to talk about Eddie Nketiah, whose deal to Marseille is broken. We're going to talk about Brice Nelson, and we're going to talk about the other players as well. But I think this week what we are going to see, probably not Arsenal signing a forward player, but what we're going to see is a general uplift in the movement on the market of forward players. So strikers have been a little bit slow. The striker market has been slow. Alvaro Morata moved. Now Julian Alvarez has moved. Actually, Julian Alvarez has been more of a surprise move as compared to the other players that we've been talking about whole summer. The likes of Alexander Isak, those ones, it was cleared early in the window that they were never going to move. So there are a few names that we thought and we know could actually be still on the move. Victor Osimhen of this world. Apart from Victor Osimhen, obviously you have you have Alexander Isak, you have Romelu Lukaku. All these players could still be on the move unless otherwise. So we might see a drastic change on the striker market. PSG still want a number 9, especially Osimhen. So if they can get Osimhen, right, we might see Arsenal waking up. Could we see Liverpool shaking Arsenal, shaking things, here and there on Victor Gyökeres? Because the market on strikers has been, quite dead, honestly. But it is moving slowly and surely. Like Di Marzio said, don't be surprised in the coming weeks for you to find yourself, working and talking about so many strikers moving here and there towards the back end of the window. Now, my only fear for Arsenal is that a club like Sporting are going to ask us, where were you 2 months ago? Right now, we are preparing for the beginning of the season. You are also preparing for the beginning of your season with Wolverhampton Wanderers on the 17th. Where were you 2 weeks ago? Where were you 3 months ago when the player was available? He never played even in the Euros. Why didn't you sign him then? Why are you trying to sign our player? Why are you trying to sign our star player while the season has begun? How are we supposed to replace him? So that could be my problem. And I could see Arsenal facing difficulty in signing a striker in the coming weeks. Because how many weeks do we have? We have 3 weeks to the end of the transfer window, and we have 2 weeks to the start of the Premier League season. So whichever way you put it, and whichever way we wanna see it, It's a crucial week in terms of strikers. It's a crucial week in terms of Arsenal signing a forward. And if we are going to actually need to sell in order for us to get a forward, it doesn't get any better. Now, first and foremost, Alexander Zinchenko has been given the shot 17 at Arsenal. That tells you everything you need to know about, is he staying? Is he going? Box number one, he gets a new shirt number. Why would they sell him if they have actually given him a new shirt number? Box number two, no one is interested in him. Box number three, Arsenal are selling him, would sell him at a very hefty price, and clubs are not really interested in signing Alexander Zinchenko at a very hefty price. So in the end, right, we are going to end up with Zinchenko staying and potentially Jakub Kiwior leaving. Now, the advantage with this one this week is that you could get, you could get a Kiwior bid. It's easy for us to get a Kiwior bid. Why we have not seen, the juggernauts in Italy, and again, I don't understand Italian clubs. When we were chasing Calafiori, all of them were chasing Kiwior. The moment we got Calafiori, all of them are shut now. They have all shut up. They've all kept quiet. You want to ask them, what's going on? We thought you wanted Jakub Kiwior. We thought all of you wanted to place 20 to 30 million bids for Jakub Kiwior. But the thing with Kiwior is that Arsenal are willing to let him go on loan with an obligation to buy. So whichever way you look at it, whichever way you see it, at the end of the day, a club is going to come in and ask for the hand of Jakub Kiwior. And since there is an option to take him on loan and include an obligation to buy, it's more likely that we're going to see that happen. So with Jakub Kiwior, I'm not surprised that Zinchenko stays, and I'm not shocked that Kiwior is the one that will be leaving. I think it's about offers. I think it's about Calafiori coming in, and that means that Kiwior doesn't have that one element that he gives Arsenal that other players don't. I think Calafiori brings what Kiwior does, but Alexander Zinchenko is still pretty much a special player, and Mikel Merino would love to keep him either way. Now, last week, Arsenal rejected 27 million euros from Nketiah's sale, and Olympique Marseille have walked away. Was it the right decision? Yes, it was the right decision, and I support my club 100%. If Arsenal sold him at 27 million, I would be angry. I'd be ranting. Why 27 million from Eddie Nketiah? I personally understand why it is hard for us to sell him. I personally understand it's not going to be an easy, it's not going to be a walkover. I've seen a few reports saying Nketiah could stay. I'm going to do a video about the strikers, especially if Eddie Nketiah stays, what that means. But just to give you a picture, this is what it means. If Eddie Nketiah stays and Arsenal are prepared to keep him, forget about signing a striker. The best we can do if Nketiah stays is to get in a ramshackle winger. Because it's very clear, the policy is very clear. You move on one winger, you move on one forward player or two, and you sign one. So if Eddie stays, and you know who Eddie is. Eddie is a striker that Mikel Arteta has understood later on, after giving him a big contract, that he doesn't trust him, and secondly, that Eddie Nketiah is not good enough. For us, we had seen that many years ago, that Eddie Nketiah wasn't good enough. So after Arsenal giving him this ridiculous contract, we want 35 million. That has been turned down. Actually, Fabrizio says that Arsenal want 35 million plus add-ons and a sell-on clause, right? Olympique Marseille didn't agree to that. Instead, they signed Youssouf Moukoko from Dortmund. Now, I tell you, Youssouf Moukoko is a bigger talent than Eddie Nketiah, better striker than Eddie Nketiah, and has a bigger ceiling and brighter future than Eddie Nketiah. So they've signed Youssouf Moukoko. The deal for Nketiah is off. Unless we get another potential club as serious as Olympique Marseille, it's weird. He's not going to leave. And if he doesn't leave, you're not going to get a striker. I can tell you that for sure. Reiss Nelson, I mean, there's nothing yet. But let's see if we can get a few bids again this week together with Aaron Ramsdale. Now, with Ramsdale, I expect him to leave, but Carl Hayne is leaving Arsenal to go on loan to Charlton. He's agreed personal terms with them. So if Carl Hayne leaves, we sign another goalkeeper, right? Ramsdale leaves, we sign another goalkeeper. Arsenal have already signed like 2 goalkeepers. We might end up signing like 5 goalkeepers this summer. 5. God, I don't know what we are doing. But with Ramsdale, it's gonna be later on for me. It will happen, but it's gonna be later on. Could it be a swap deal with with Guimaraes? We don't know, but it's gonna be later on. With Reiss Nelson, it's confusing. Like, West Ham have completely signed someone else, and all the other clubs that we wanted to give him to see him as a very expensive option. So Leicester wanted to sign him on a loan with obligation. I don't know whether Arsenal declined to that, and if we did, why did we? And if we have not, why did they say that the deal is very expensive? So again, lots happening this week.